Welcome to my channel. Today I will take you on a journey into the depths of one of the most disturbing and mysterious cases of recent decades, that of Maura Murray. In this video I will analyze every detail, every clue, and we will invite you to reflect together on what might have happened that fateful night. Stay with me. Maura Murray, a name that shook American public opinion, disappeared on February 9, 2004, after leaving her everyday life without a trace. An engineering graduate, with a complex personality and a life full of mysteries, Maura became the object of numerous investigations, theories, and speculations. But who was Maura Murray really? And why did her disappearance leave a trail of unanswered questions? The case begins with a seemingly banal event, a car accident on an isolated road in New Hampshire. What seemed like a fortuitous accident soon turned into an enigma. Maura, who was driving alone, ended up in a small ditch and, despite the intervention of rescuers, disappeared into thin air. Her disappearance was the center of media attention for years, becoming the symbol of an unsolved mystery that still fascinates and disturbs today. To understand the mystery of Maura Murray, it is essential to reconstruct the chronology of events. The night of February 9, 2004, the moment Maura left her home on the campus of the College of the Holy Cross in New Hampshire, marked the beginning of a nightmare. After informing several faculty members and fellow students of a delicate personal situation, Maura set off in her car on a solitary journey, the initial purpose of which remains unclear to this day. Shortly after midnight, in an isolated area, Maura's car was involved in an accident. When rescuers arrived, they did not find Maura, but a damaged car and few signs of human presence. What initially seemed like a simple traffic accident quickly became an enigma. No witness or surveillance camera was able to provide a plausible explanation of what had happened to Maura. Despite numerous searches carried out by local authorities and volunteers, the fate of Maura Murray remains shrouded in mystery. Official investigations never led to definitive conclusions, fueling a myriad of theories, from that of a kidnapping, to that of a voluntary escape to escape a tormented past, to the hypothesis of an extreme and desperate gesture. To understand the context of her disappearance, it is essential to analyze the profile of Maura Murray. Maura was an intelligent and determined young woman, but with a complex past. Coming from a family with intricate dynamics, she had experienced numerous changes in her life, from high school to college. Some witnesses and friends described Maura as reserved, sometimes enigmatic, with a strong desire to protect her privacy and to keep certain parts of her life secret. Her behavior in the days before her disappearance had raised suspicions and questions, sudden mood swings, cryptic conversations, and a series of seemingly irrational decisions. This air of mystery has contributed to growing curiosity around her figure, so much so that, years later, the case is still the subject of in-depth analysis and discussions on true crime forums and television programs. The case of Maura Murray has generated numerous theories, many of which fall into two broad categories: those that hypothesize a voluntary escape and those that suggest a tragic and violent fate. Let's look at some of the main hypotheses together. One of the most popular theories is that Maura decided to run away to start a new life, leaving behind a difficult past. According to this theory, the accident could have been a setup to cover up her final departure. Some believe that Maura had accumulated debts or was involved in problematic relationships, and that the escape represented a way out of an untenable situation. Another theory suggests that third parties were involved. It could have been a kidnapping or a murder disguised as an accident. This line of thinking is fueled by the lack of concrete evidence and the numerous anomalies found at the scene of the accident. Detractors of this theory point out that the lack of direct evidence does not rule out criminal intervention, but the lack of further clues makes it difficult to confirm this thesis. Some analysts suggest that Maura's disappearance was the result of a desperate act, perhaps aimed at escaping a tormented past or unsustainable personal situations. This hypothesis, although less sensationalistic, highlights how loneliness and pain can push a person to make extreme choices. The testimonies of Maura's friends and acquaintances speak of a young woman in conflict with herself, torn between the desire to escape and the fear of facing her past. Despite extensive research and in-depth investigations, the evidence collected on the field is few and often contradictory. Let's analyze together some of the most significant elements that emerged during the investigation. The location of the accident is one of the key elements of the mystery. An isolated road, without surveillance cameras and direct witnesses, offered the authorities very few possibilities to reconstruct precisely what had happened. The car debris and the tracks left on the roadway were not enough to shed light on every aspect of the case. The testimonies collected in the days following the disappearance were fragmentary and, in some cases, contradictory. Some residents of the area reported seeing a suspicious car in motion, while others noticed anomalous behavior by people who seemed to be trying to hide something. However, none of these reports managed to provide a clear picture. The forensic analysis conducted on the car and the accident site has led to inconclusive conclusions. Despite the sophisticated techniques used, many experts have admitted that the evidence left on the field was insufficient to outline a precise dynamic of the event. This evidentiary void has helped keep the mystery alive, leaving room for interpretation and speculation. The case of Maura Murray has attracted the attention not only of the authorities, but also of the media and the online public. Forums, podcasts, and documentaries have delved into the mystery, helping to spread theories and hypotheses, often contradictory. The media has played a fundamental role in keeping the attention on the case alive. Numerous journalists and documentary filmmakers have produced reports that try to reconstruct Maura's life and analyze the possible motives behind her disappearance. This incessant flow of information, sometimes unverified, has fueled a public debate that still continues today. The internet has provided a space for discussion for thousands of true crime enthusiasts. Forums, social groups, and YouTube channels dedicated to the case have seen innovative theories and detailed analyses flourish. The absence of a definitive answer has made the Maura Murray case fertile ground for speculation, but also for sharing data and documents in an attempt to reconstruct the entire dynamics of events. Media attention has also helped transform Maura into an almost mythological figure, a symbol of the fight against the darkness that often hides behind appearances. This manhunt has seen experts, amateurs, and even mystery enthusiasts as protagonists, all united by the desire to reveal the secret behind the young woman's disappearance. In addition to the investigative aspects, the case of Maura Murray also offers interesting insights from a psychological and sociocultural point of view. As a university student, Maura lived in an environment characterized by strong academic and social pressures. The need to excel, to conform to standards and family expectations may have profoundly affected her state of mind. Many experts hypothesize that the young woman could have felt overwhelmed by responsibilities and internal conflicts, leading her to make drastic decisions. One of the characteristics that emerges from Maura's profile is emotional isolation. Despite her apparent independent qualities, her inner life was marked by profound loneliness. This isolation, combined with possible past traumas, may have significantly influenced her way of dealing with difficulties, leading her to seek an escape from her inner demons. The case of Maura Murray had a significant impact on the cultural landscape, inspiring numerous artists, writers, and content creators. His story, suspended between reality and mystery, represents an icon of contemporary culture, in which the search for truth is intertwined with the desire to understand the unknown. This phenomenon has prompted the public to question themes such as identity, loneliness, and the need to belong. To try to paint a more complete picture of Maura Murray, it is essential to listen to the testimonies of those who knew her. Those who attended Maura at Holy Cross describe her as a reserved person, but with an inner strength that allowed her to face daily challenges with determination. Some describe a young woman who, despite the difficulties, always tried to maintain control of her life, skillfully hiding her fragility behind a veil of silence. Maura's family members, despite their grief over her passing, have revealed little-known aspects of her personality. Behind the image of the brilliant student was a person tormented by insecurities and a past that, perhaps, had led her to seek an escape. These testimonies offer a more intimate and human perspective, highlighting how even the strongest people can hide deep wounds. The case has had a strong emotional impact on anyone who has followed Maura's story. Her story has become a symbol of humanity in search of answers, of truths hidden behind the veil of appearances. There have been countless interviews and debates, in which the mystery of Maura Murray has served as a catalyst for broader reflections on the meaning of life and the choices that shape our destiny. In the years since her disappearance, the Maura Murray case has inspired numerous private investigators, journalists, and true crime enthusiasts to undertake independent research. Several documentaries, podcasts, and web series have dedicated entire seasons to reconstructing the mystery of Maura. These projects, often made with an investigative approach by real amateur detectives, have raised new questions and brought to light details that had previously been overlooked. Interviews with forensic experts and those who knew the young woman provide further insights for understand the context and possible dynamics that led to the disappearance. The online phenomenon has shown how collective participation can help keep the debate on unsolved cases alive. Forums, Facebook groups, and YouTube channels have allowed thousands of people to share documents, analyze photographs, and discuss theories. This synergy between enthusiasts has created a sort of investigative community that, despite the lack of official resources, has tried to shed light on one of the most intriguing enigmas of recent decades. Despite numerous attempts at reconstruction, the case remains open. Every new discovery, however small, fuels the hope that one day the truth may emerge. The joint efforts of private investigators, journalists, and enthusiasts continue to keep Maura Murray's memory alive, in the hope that answers may finally arrive. At the end of this long journey, we ask ourselves, what can we learn from the Maura Murray case? Maura's mystery represents one of the greatest challenges for justice and for the human mind. Her story, made of contradictions and silences, reminds us that behind every disappearance there is a set of stories, emotions, and secrets that deserve to be heard. The case pushes us to reflect on how fragile the balance between light and darkness is in every person's life. In an era in which information is just a click away, the truth often gets lost in the folds of contradictory news and unfounded theories. However, the Maura Murray case teaches us the importance of continuing to search, of not passively accepting what we are told, but of digging deeper to find answers. It is an invitation not to give up, even when circumstances seem insurmountable. Behind every mystery there are real people, with dreams, fears, and stories to tell. Maura Murray, with her disappearance, has left a void not only in the official investigations, but also in the hearts of those who knew her or who, in some way, identified with her search for freedom and truth. Her case is a warning about the complexity of the human condition and the importance of not neglecting the emotional side of events. The mystery of Maura Murray continues to fascinate and disturb. The unanswered questions, the conflicting theories, and the emotional impact that her story has aroused remain today a call for those who, like us, never stop searching for the truth. In this video we tried to retrace the salient moments of the case, analyzing every detail and comparing the various hypotheses. But the truth, at the moment, remains hidden behind a veil of shadows and silences. I invite you to leave your opinions and theories in the comments. What do you think happened to Maura Murray? What clues do you think can finally bring the truth to light? Your participation is essential to keep the debate alive and, perhaps, one day, to shed light on this mystery. Thank you for staying with me until the end.